So I am on my way home, and I was thinking about consequences of a low trust society. And when people lose trust in institutions, governments, when they are even losing trust in other people, their neighbors, and especially in their own family, I notice that this has been going on, and it's going crazy recently, which explains, the low birth rates. It is a low trust situation. So when you lose trust, generally you start building walls, physical walls, and mental walls, spiritual walls. I remember when I was younger, some 30 years ago, you could walk into your neighbor's house. No problem. From the street, from the public to the private, you could walk and knock on their doors. Similar to the people who worked, for the post office. They used to deliver the mail, to the box that was, at the door. You see, you will go inside the property and put, inside, there was an opening, and you put the mail inside. Similar to the guy that worked for the electric company, he would come and he would go inside the private property, because the meter was somewhere inside the private property, in a wall or something. You see, that's very trustly society, when you could walk in, talk to your neighbor directly, knock on the door. Sometimes the doors was open. Children would play outside and inside. They would go out and in at the same time. Parents didn't really care. They were playing with all the kids over the street, and they trusted the traffic. They trusted the drivers to pay attention. They trusted their children with, their toys, and sometimes dangerous toys, that they would get hurt very often. They would play soccer, football in the concrete, in the street. They would fall into the ground. They trusted. There was this spirit of trust. But nowadays, you don't see that anymore. What you see is walls. Everybody, from the private to the public street, there's a wall, a fence. And everybody's got their laws. Around here is 2 meters high, so everybody's got a fence, a wall of 2 meters height in height, and you can't see inside, obviously. That's the whole purpose. Because what? Oh, they want more privacy. Sure, but that also implies there's low trust. Now the post people, or the electric company people, they do everything from the outside. They don't, they can't go in anymore. So they have to do everything from the outside. And if there's a bell, because most people don't even put bells anymore. If there's a bell and you want to talk to your neighbor, you ring the bell. Sorry, I'm outside. There might be some noise. So, in a low trust society, people also don't get together and practice rituals, which are very important. You see, some people discard rituals. They say, "Oh, it's not a very intelligent thing to do." You do rituals whether you want to or not. Some people, for instance, they have a garden with some flowers. They say it's pretty. They spend half an hour, let's say, for a day, just fixing this garden. They are practicing liturgy. They are practicing a ritual. That garden is actually a shrine to nature. Other people, they spend, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes behind in the toilet fixing their image. That's a ritual. You're fixing your image. Nobody is probably gonna notice. Or I don't know, you wash your teeth three times a day. That's a ritual. Why are you doing? Nobody wants to kiss you anyway, but you do it 3 times a day. Some people do. Other people, I don't know. If you have property, people like to wash everything with water. Around here, it's a big thing, especially the women. They open the hose and they just wash everything. Everything is clean anyway, but they do that regularly. It's a ritual. Just this thing of washing away, you are cleaning away impurities. That's what rituals is all about. People do it their own funny way. Sometimes it's a collective thing, or often is a private thing. Taking showers, fixing your image, that's a ritual. Fixing a garden, go for walks, you are taking care of yourself, you are participating in a ritual. It's lethargic. It's almost everything that we do is lethargic, and it's a fix. Even eating is a fix. It's a remedy. It's a ritual. You could summarize human behavior to ceremonies and rituals. Of course, there's also I would say inside and outwards, because there's parts you can also practice rituals and ceremonies, but they are within. It's not exteriorized. That's more into the other realm. It's a different realm, but often we exteriorize it. Yeah, everything anyway comes from the spiritual, right? You could be sitting in somewhere and having a spiritual experience, right? Or you can exteriorize it, right? Often people exteriorize these things and they don't know they are practicing a ritual and or a ceremony. That's how we learn. That's how we go about our lives. When we go into a low trust society, people just stop what is common human behavior, which is talking to each other, and creating relationships, because everything in the universe is a relationship. And if you stop relationships because of a low trust, what happens that you have a low birth rate. That's immediately the consequence. Because the universe just keeps going because it's a relationship. If you stop it, you stop the universe, pretty much. Well, luckily, most people are in autopilot. Luckily, yeah, because if everybody was, you know what I mean. I don't think humanity would have lasted this long. Luckily, we have many that are in autopilot. Well, but there's a threat, though. Yeah, there's a materialistic threat. These pills that people take, and they just force the body to reject pregnancy. It's a Pandora's box that was opened, and it will take time, but I think it could be the end of humanity. You're like, no, you can't be that serious. Yes, it is. It's been around for, I don't know, 60, 70 years, and look at what it did. For 70 years it's been out, and demographics has been catastrophically going down. The only reason why things seem normal is because the constant injection of migrants. The constant injection of migrants is what's keeping things afloat. But even the migrants that come from the so-called third world countries are also, taking that magical pill. So only those who are in autopilot, will inherit the world in a way. I didn't want to go there. Ugh, come on. So anyway, a low trust society also implies that will be less investment, because people just buy less investment. So anyway, you kind of have to have a certain amount of trust for things to go about. If there's low trust, the people in charge have no other choice but to put the pedal down in tyranny, you see, to try to mediate the low trust. But the more they become authoritarian, the worse it becomes, you know. It's a slippery slope. It's not with the rules and regulations that are going to fix this. You have to, you know, raise trust in people. I don't think you know, people realize, but trust is very important. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. Have a nice day.